Guys, welcome to the Ripple Effect podcast. I am super excited to be joined by entrepreneur Bo Jones. Bo, how are you doing today?
Good, Steve. How are you?
I am fantastic. I've been looking forward to this conversation ever since you and I did our Zoom a few weeks back, mainly because when I think about Ripplers, you are definitely one. You are making some huge ripples out there in the world, not only through Tru-Built, your construction company, but also what you're doing with Career Pathway. And I can't wait to learn about all of it. But I just want to start by asking you maybe this one important question. What's the coolest thing you've learned through your entrepreneurial efforts in building these companies?
Single most important thing that we've learned is when you learn to serve others and you focus on what they need and you serve their needs, that's when you come out ahead. You have to serve others first.
Yep. I love that. How did you arrive at that philosophy? Is that something that you grew up, and were exposed to through your parents or first job or coach back in school? Where did that come from? Where did that servant mindset come from?
Absolutely through the construction industry. We found early on that the better job you do and the more you take care of your clients, the happier they are, the more work they give you, the more clients they refer you to. You have to take care of them and everything else comes to you.
I love that. What was it about the construction industry that led you down that path initially for your own career?
Well, so funny story is I actually went to college to be a financial advisor. Construction was never on the radar. And while I was getting my degree, I was waiting tables at a restaurant here in Lincoln. And there was a group of individuals that came in and always wondered what we were doing on evenings and weekends and just tried to get us to help them out. Well, we didn't really know what they were doing until we found out they had over 100 rental properties.
Wow.
They needed some grunts, and that was us. So for years, around class schedules, we would go in and do our class stuff. And then at the end of the day, we would call and they'd have all the tools set up and all the materials on the job sites, and they'd give us an address and we'd go do whatever that they had for that day to do. And they were buying just run down crummy houses at the courthouse that were repos and all this stuff. And we were the grunts. We got to go in and do it all. But the neat thing about it is it was their tools. It was their knowledge. They were right there alongside us, coaching and mentoring us along. We could not fail. And they were just paying us by the hour. They just needed some muscle.
Yeah.
And we fell in love with it. We did. We started growing and buying our own tools, and then we started hiring people, and the projects got bigger. And so construction was never part of the plan. Just fell in love with it.
What was it about the construction that you fell in love with specifically?
I'm not a sit still type of guy at all. So the thought of being a financial advisor and sitting behind a desk and a computer all the time, that's not
snooze fest.
I love 3D. I love working with my hands, and the pride that comes along with the construction industry is fun. You get to walk away from something every day and three-dimensionally see what you did. And my kids get kind of annoyed by it, but I'm the guy that when we're driving around town, it's like, we built that and we built that and we built that. Because like, yeah, we know, Dad, you've told us 50 times already.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you 50 more. Don't worry.
Well, it worked. So my son is going into the construction industry next. So that'll be fun. He's a senior in high school and soon to be at SEC Milford, which is a great construction program. It's a community college here in the Lincoln area.
Nice.
And it's exciting. He has it in his blood. He's the same way. And so, yeah, construction, never on the radar, and just fell in love with it.
That's awesome. And you got to be a pretty proud dad that he's going to follow in your footsteps. I think that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. We're breaking him in already. He's already on the team, and the boys are working him into the mix.
That's awesome. So for Tru-Built, what do you guys focus on from a construction perspective? Is it residential? Is it commercial? Is it a little mixture of both, or?
Still a mixture of both. We started out residential remodel on the rental properties, doing just anything and everything, and got into the big custom home market in about 2010, 2011, and have always done really large custom homes since then. We kind of skipped over the starter home market, but now we're in the big multifamily stuff. So I think we have, we've just recently completed 229 units, and we have another 700 plus units that are on the schedule ready to go. So I think we'll do another 275 units to get started this year, and then just about 250 units a year thereafter. So
that's fantastic.
Big multifamily projects. Yeah.
So things are going well, it sounds like.
Yeah. We've grown up a lot. We have an amazing team, a very talented team that is very passionate about what we do. And I would say probably 90% of our work comes from repeat and referral clients. And that goes back to just taking care of our clients.
Yeah. I mean, that's the best formula for growth that you could possibly have, right? Do a good job, do what you say you'll do when you say you'll do it. Leave your clients not only satisfied, but delighted with the outcome. And they will absolutely forward your business. They will get, your name out in front of the people that need to hear it. And that's the best way to grow, don't you think?
Absolutely. And the other thing is, if you have a relationship established with your clients, construction, there's bumps and there's rocky spots in the road. And if you have a good relationship with that client, you can sit down, talk it through, come to a common ground and keep moving forward. You don't have this tension due to lack of relationship. So we're very fortunate that we work with the same people for years and decades on end, and they're good people.
I love that. And you touched on something that's really near and dear to my heart. Obviously, what I do for this show with the Ripple Effect is I focus on the relationship component and why that's so critical. Not only if you're growing a business or you want to, step up the next, rung in the career ladder, but really just to feel like you are contributing and adding value to other people's lives is really near and dear to my heart. The flip side of what I do, obviously, I touch in the construction industry as well. I've got a software company that's really designed to help owners of construction really stay in charge and in control of their projects. And the thing we hear from client after client, especially if they've had a bad outcome, was the lack of relationship that they had with those stakeholders. They didn't have a true relationship with their general contractor or the subs. They didn't really understand, what to do to build that relationship with their engineering team or their architectural team. And I love the fact that you are taking a proactive step forward to ensure that relationship with the client. Because like you said, the construction industry is not without challenges and issues. And obviously now with, tariffs and the impact to, the industry in at large because of the economy, there are a lot of things that, may not necessarily go all that well on a project. But if you have a good relationship with your client, you can walk through these things. You have the trust. You've developed that, that competency in that relationship with them where they know you're not just BSing them because of what they hear on the news. They know, hey, if Bo's coming to talk to me because this change order is necessary, then it is necessary. And you've built that street cred. How do you go about building that relationship? I know it sounds like you've got a lot of repeat clients, but if you have a new client that's coming in, how do you plant that flag as kind of a first step to build that authentic relationship with them so they know you're not just telling them what they want to hear, but that it's actually truthful?
A lot of our projects are open book projects, so cost plus. And what that really does is that establishes trust early on in the project, because we sit down before we even break ground on the foundation. We show them every single bid that we received. We show them how we compiled the budget, what all goes into it. We show them what our margin is. We just show it to them. And it's their project, and we want to make sure that they're comfortable before we even get started. And then what that does is it gives us clarity along the way. So if something does come up, we can sit down and we can say, hey, this line item right here, we had this in the budget, this came up, and it's going to adjust it by this much. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose on those numbers, but overall it's clarity, and people understand they're not caught in the scary change order game that a lot of times it happens in the construction industry.
It does.
Clarity from day one, trust from day one, kind of sets the groundwork for everything else that we do.
Have you ever had a situation, maybe that you can give us an example or a story where, things were bumping along and then all of a sudden something unexpected happened, but because you had that relationship built, you could actually go have that conversation. And even though it might not be the best outcome for the owner, because they may have to pony up some more dollars because of a change that was unexpected, but because you laid that groundwork, that just went a lot smoother than you thought?
Well, 100%. Going through the COVID era of prices going crazy, and especially lumber, anything that was stick framed at that point, to where we had a budget number of this, and we saw 30 to 40 to 50% increases, sometimes 100% increase throughout the duration of a project. And we could sit down with the actual bid in hand and say, this is how we came up with your numbers 8 months ago, and here's what the numbers are today when we ordered it. Like that's what it is. Yeah. And there's nothing that we can do about that. We don't control commodity pricing, but it gave us the clarity to sit down with the clients and just say, hey, we're in this together. Had the prices gone down, you would have bought at a lower price, but unfortunately in this time it went up. So that helped a lot. Still some difficult conversations, because people had bank loans and budgets and all this stuff, and had to go back to the bank quick and do their thing. But yeah, it's just clarity from day one helps that relationship a lot.
When you're starting off with a new client, do you kind of plant that flag? This is the way that we function, and this is how we, will communicate. And when there are things, challenges, we're going to be, completely transparent about it. Do you set that expectation really from the jump before you even really get going? Or do you feel like that kind of evolves over time and you're kind of building that trust along the way? Or how do you guys go about making sure a client knows they're with the right company?
We tell them up front, but a lot of clients, this is their first go at a big construction projects. They really don't fully understand the impact of the meaning behind that until we get midstream through the project, and they have open access to all of our file storage in terms of box documents and all that. They can see all of their bids, all of their estimates, all their invoices at any time. So if they're up at midnight and they're trying to figure something out, they can rummage through the files and it's all there. So the clarity for them comes as we go through the project, and they don't have to call and ask us, and it's always right there, and we can refer back to the documentation. It's just giving them the information that they need.
I love that. As people look at the construction industry, whether they're building a big, beautiful custom home, or they are thinking about their commercial building for their company, what is it that you wish people knew going in about the construction process or the industry at large?
It's messy at times.
Yeah.
Mud is annoying. Snow, rain. You don't have much of that down in Texas, but up here we get the sleet.
You get it all up there.
We get it all. It's wonderful. But just the fact that we can't control Mother Nature, and we lay out a timeline day one and say this is what we're hoping for, and we try to build in some delays along the way, but we always try to keep to the schedule best we can. But there's certain things out of our control that most clients understand, and we try to talk them through that. But there's the occasional few that don't understand that 3 inches of rain has an impact on construction for a couple of days.
Yep. You don't want me laying your foundation when it's happening like that, right?
Right.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. You and I met because of a mutual friend, Maggie Thorne. Maggie and I have known each other for a number of years. She's been on the podcast and done a few things for my Ripple community. She's amazing. When she reached out to me and said, you and Bo need to know one another, I was like, I take any recommendation she gives. I'm all in. But when you and I connected, we had our conversation, I just felt this real kinship and appreciation for the fact that she put us together. But how did you and Maggie originally meet?
Through another mutual friend by the name of Tony Aguilera up in Omaha. And as we're rolling out careerpathway.com, we're getting in front of the groups that have the connections with the students and all the things. And Tony is that. So Tony runs the Barrientos Scholarship Foundation out of Omaha, which is a primarily Latino youth organization. And they help the youth kind of work their way through middle school and high school, and then they get them into college programs or straight into industry. And they do a ton of scholarships and internships and all the fun stuff. And so we instantly got connected with Tony through careerpathway.com, and Tony and Maggie are good friends. So that's how that connection came to be. And Maggie's super passionate about getting this next generation aligned. And her story to know that she had some rocky spots along the way as well. And, it's up to us as experienced leaders to help this next generation through mentoring and coaching and all of the things. And that's something that Maggie is very passionate about. So I
love that. Yeah, she is, and she does such an exceptionally good job and such a great representative for this future generation. Someone that's enthusiastic and inspiring and motivating at the same time, but at the end of the day, also a realist. You got to put in the work. You got to show up. You got to do the things that are expected of you and represent yourself in the best possible light. So I love the fact that she merges personal responsibility with the faith and, commitment and all the things that, sometimes you need people like that in your life that will sort of show you the pathway forward. Well, speaking of which, tell us about Career Pathway. I think this idea is so brilliant, and I'm so excited to be able to expose what you're doing with it to this audience.
Yeah. So careerpathway.com is a solution that solves a frustration that I had on several fronts. So frustration number one, as the owner of Tru-Built Construction, I'm in charge of keeping talent on the team. And what we've seen over the last 10 to 12 years is just a decreased labor pipeline coming toward to us that it makes it very difficult for us to get the work done that we have, to take on additional work. And we see it in our subcontractor teams and our delivery teams, and everybody, certainly in the construction industry, is short on workforce. But then as you look beyond construction into other industries such as manufacturing and all of them seemingly, they're all short on talent somehow. So that's frustration number one, is keeping a talent pipeline coming to the construction industry and our business. Something else I've been very passionate about along the way is we're 26 years into this. And I think we started in year 2 or 3 mentoring the next generation. So we always had young guys on the team. We were in high schools. I think we built 6 houses with high school students over the years.
Wow. Foundation
all the way up to move-in ready. Been on the advisory councils, home builders association, everything I can to engage this next generation. And it's just a lot. It's a lot for a business owner to step away for a day, sometimes a couple days at a time, to do these things that we're all very passionate about and are extremely important. But we all have this desire to do more on a broader base, somehow with less effort and expense. So that was frustration number 2 that I'm trying to solve. And then on a personal side, I've got my 2 kids. So my wife, Amber, and I are kind of navigating this transition of my daughter is now a freshman in college, going to be a sophomore in college. My son is a senior in high school, going to go into all of the stuff that senior football players do in varsity football and all the good stuff. But watching our own children make this transition from high school into making one of the most important decisions of their lives, what are they going to be when they grow up? It's a tough transition. There's frustration, confusion. We had tears go down the list. And what happens is if they make the wrong decision, they waste a ton of time, student loans rack up and all of the things. And it's a very impactful, expensive decision if you go the wrong direction. So 3 fronts trying to solve this frustration. So what we came up with was careerpathway.com. And it's essentially an online web-based platform that functions like a social media platform. But what it does is it gives us as industry a platform. Through photos and videos, I can come in and tell my story as Tru-Built Construction. What's a day in the life at Tru-Built Construction? How-to videos. Get to know us. Get to know our team and our culture. What are some of the spaces that we work in? What do we build? Why do we build it? How do we build it? Giving these young professionals and these students the opportunity to see the construction industry and specifically our company on their level. This is the TikTok generation. You have to get to them right here on their devices. If you don't get them here, you can't send them a book and say, please read this. You don't get them.
That's right.
So what we do is we can tell our story through photos and videos. There's an about section, and then we can also post all of our opportunities that we have available. What does it mean to be a carpenter at Tru-Built Construction? What's a project manager do? What does the accounting team do? So we can very specifically explain what we do, how we do it, and then we can post whether we're hiring or not hiring right there on the platform. So the neatest thing that we've done is while we were building this platform is we started working with the education system early on saying, hey, here's what's coming. Would you use this in the classroom? So we went through the approval process. It took about 1.5 years to get through the safety and privacy settings for students. But now we have a resource that the education system can connect us as industry in the classroom as early as 13 years old.
That's great.
Now students 7th through 12th grade in classrooms can be learning about Tru-Built Construction without me being there. They can see all of our stuff, meet our team. And what happens then is as these students are engaging in our content and all of the other companies on the platform, they start to gravitate towards industries and more specifically careers. And we show them where their interests are. They actually have their own profile that we show them front and center. Hey, you're really leaning towards this thing called manufacturing. You might want to pay attention to this. They can dive down into what manufacturing means, the positions available, and then we introduce them to the businesses that are doing those things. Why this is important is imagine the impact if a student from 13 to 18 years old can kind of naturally gravitate towards an industry to where when they graduate from high school, they have a clear understanding of what their next step is, what their interest is, and they can see right there the college programs and the businesses that are doing those things. What's the ripple effect of that?
Yeah. Huge. Oh man. That's so amazing. I really reflected back on my own high school career because it was, if I thought about like all the different areas that I really had interest in, there was really no resource to go and vet those, whether it was maybe a particular vertical in terms of a career path, that if I wanted to be a lawyer, there wasn't something that said, hey, here is a law firm that will tell you everything there is to be, what you would experience coming to work at a law firm, all the different roles within a law firm. If you want to be a lawyer and go through law school, this is what it would look like in your career path. Same for business ownership and entrepreneurship. I was involved in a program in high school called DECA, and I really, really credit my high school marketing advisor. I'm still friends with him now. He's in his 80s, and I just love the guy to death. But the whole reason I'm an entrepreneur is he saw potential in me and knew that if I continued to go down the path I was going, it was not going to be good, right? I was going to have a really poor outcome. And I didn't have a lot of support at home. I didn't have a lot of encouragement. And you would say, really technically I was super smart. I could do anything, but I wasn't applying myself. And I had him really grab me by the ear and be like, all right, Harper, you're going to come learn this. You're going to do this. And he got me involved in understanding, the industry and the opportunity and this word entrepreneurship. And once I had it and I sunk my teeth in it and he saw that I had a genuine interest, then he put all the things in front of me to continue to encourage my desire to pursue. But had I had something like, what you've built in front of me, I would have not only would have been a huge impact to me at the time, but all the students that I went to school with that were really lost and didn't know what to do. And they were sort of depending on, their parents or the guidance counselors, neither of which were really truly attuned to what that kid could do or where they could go, what their potential was. This would have been huge. So I love the fact that you're doing it. Like you said, the biggest ripple effect you guys could be making. And it came from like really a problem, right? How do we get quality people that maybe aren't looking at the construction industry as an opportunity for Tru-Built? How do I get them to, not only get their attention, but maybe attract them to want to come, hang their hat and work for us? It's a perfect seeding strategy for, a headcount problem that you could be having just continually and with no easy solution.
That's exactly right. So we're blessed in the United States to have a very good education system.
Yeah,
we are. And they run the students through and they come out with the STEM understanding and the basic understanding of what they need for life. But what they really are missing is the connection to industry, the connection to real world. And one of the biggest struggles with that is we as industry offer tens of thousands of career opportunities. It is impossible for the education system to fully understand thousands of opportunities,
right?
Try to stay up to date, create content for all of these opportunities, and then connect them to those of us that have it. It's not a fair request for us to say, hey, education system, figure this out.
Yeah.
It's up to us as industry to put our information out there and allow the education system to use it. So that's exactly what we're doing with Career Pathway, is we've given all industries across everywhere a chance and a position to put themselves in front of this emerging generation of workforce. From 13 to 25 years old, that's the sweet spot of the users we have on the platform. And I can tell you right now, that's who I need coming to the construction industry.
I love that.
So now Tru-Built Construction has a voice in front of thousands of students in currently 33 different states.
That's great.
I would never meet these students anywhere else.
No. Well, and when you think about what you said about your kids in the building, right? What you're really doing is it's a completely different approach to legacy. Like that building is one thing. You can drive by it and be like, hey, remember I told you I built this, right? Or we had a hand in this. And there's some pride in that. And I guarantee, even though you get the eye roll from your kids, 15, 20 years from now, they're going to be like, my dad built that, right? They'll be super proud. But what you're doing is taking legacy and you're putting it on steroids now, because now you're not just building buildings, you're building careers and you're building futures and potential and opportunity. I love it. Give us a little bit of the background in terms of the origin of how it started and really how you kind of, built out the, not necessarily the secret sauce in terms of the tech stack, but really how you decided, hey, we definitely have to meet them in video and we have to put these things in front of them because you're talking about a future generation that's used to scrolling. And how do we get them to scroll to this and stay and then actually express interest?
Yeah. So the first person I talked to was a gentleman by the name of Tim Clare, and he's one of my longtime business advisors here in Lincoln and a very, very connected individual. So I called him and I said, "Hey, Tim, I want to sit down and show you this idea." And I did. And about 45 minutes into it, he goes, "Okay, what are we calling it?" It's like, "Okay, well, I guess we're doing this."
It's a good sign. Yeah.
Yeah. And then he's like, "Let's make some connections." And then, as Tim does, next thing I know, we're on the phone with the director of economic development for the state of Nebraska, and got in front of that team. And then
Not a bad place to start. Let's be honest.
oh yeah, start way at the top and work your way down. But they actually funded us with a prototype grant. And what that prototype grant did was that allowed us to go through about a 7-month interview process to where we took and we built it was a pitch deck, a 10-page pitch deck, where we went out and interviewed hundreds of people, students, educators, business owners, go down the list, anybody that would sit down and look at this, hundreds of them over 7 months. And basically we created a platform that it was just recommendations and suggestions from all of these people over that time before we even started typing a single line of code.
Wow.
So then we get teamed up with a group here in town called Don't Panic Labs, and it's a software development team. And they're phenomenal at what they do and super high power. And for about almost 2 years, we built a software platform using their team and their group to where we now have a full functioning platform that does all of the things that we say it does. We're about 3.5 years into this by now. So, and then about a year ago, recent partnership with the Lincoln Chamber of Commerce and the City of Lincoln. They have a partnership called LPED, which is the Lincoln Partnership for Economic Development, to where they contributed some funds that also brought in the Department of Labor information. So now we have our own platform. We have Department of Labor information. We have the support at the highest levels and all of the fun things going on. So partnerships are key. Obviously the right partnerships. And, what we did is we started at the top. We started at the Department of Economic Development. We started working with our state commissioner of education to make sure that they were going to be on board with this. And then now our governor is involved and very supportive of what we're doing. So it's fun to see the connections, but these are all individuals that are incredibly passionate about getting this next generation down the path to success. That's all of our win. These are the people that are going to be taking care of us.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, and such an incredible, valuable resource, and to have that many people stepping up and supporting it and encouraging it and opening the doors and creating the opportunities, that's incredible. So you were talking about 33 states. Like, how did that expand beyond Nebraska to get into these other 32 states?
Well, we really don't know, other than social media is what
I love
it
the
is.
honesty. It's great.
Yeah. So no, we put it on social media, and then it shares and people comment and do all the things, and it just kind of it goes out. But it's exciting. We see these little pockets in Indiana, and all of a sudden California comes in with a pocket, and in comes Portland with a pocket of people, and it's fun to see the engagement from across the nation. But we're really hyper focused on crushing this in Nebraska. Yeah. And just letting it go from there. Neat event coming up August 14th. So here in about a month, the governor has an annual governor's summit, and it's actually put on by the Department of Economic Development. So it's, again, the team that we've been working with. They're doing the first ever governor's youth summit.
Ooh.
Our Governor Jim Pillen, is very passionate about keeping Nebraska talent in the state of Nebraska.
Smart. Yeah.
And how you do that is you make sure that the Nebraska talent knows what's available in the state of Nebraska. Because if they don't know, they're going to go elsewhere. Yeah. And we have that brain drain going on here. They're going to places like Denver and Kansas City and others. So the passion is to keep the team here, right? Yep. And Department of Economic Development has been challenged as governor has said, hey, figure this out and let's keep this talent here. So we're doing a first ever Governor's Youth Summit. We're extremely excited about it, but it's going to be a day of real connections. Yeah. So this is going to be real students getting real opportunities. It's almost going to be like a signing day to where these students are walking out with scholarships. They're going to be walking out with full-time jobs, part-time jobs, internships, go down the list, but this is going to be real connections. That's amazing. So we're excited about that. And the businesses that are coming on board and stepping up and doing all the things is phenomenal. And the students are coming in, and some of these students are going to walk away with amazing opportunities that they may not even see coming. Yeah, that's so incredible. I'm like, my hat's off to you.
when I looked at the site, right, it doesn't cost the students anything, the job seekers anything. It's, your revenue appears to be all through the companies that want to highlight what they're doing and why their particular industry or their particular company offers opportunity for, these students and job seekers. Is that, was that kind of a decided business model from the very beginning, or are there other elements to the funding aspects of, this has got to be an incredibly costly thing to get off the ground. So is it designed to be a for-profit kind of opportunity? And is it the businesses that are basically funding it going forward in the future growth?
Yeah. So back to our passion about mentoring and helping this next generation figure it out. We were very passionate about, hey, it's free for students, it's free for individuals seeking opportunities, and it's free for the education system. So teachers and classrooms can use it for free and understand what their students are doing. So it's always going to be free for that group. The businesses have three different opportunities. They have a free opportunity. They can come in if they just want to coach and mentor and help this next generation move forward, free.
That's cool.
For those of us like Tru-Built Construction, I need to hire people. I need to be able to post my jobs. I need to be able to click a button when I'm hiring and when I'm not hiring, and I need it to land in front of an audience. It's going to cost you $100 a month.
That's a hell of a bargain. Way cheaper than running an ad on LinkedIn.
Anybody who's done Indeed or LinkedIn knows the real cost of what some of this, and you also know the quality that you're getting on the other side, especially in the construction industry. It's not good. So $100 a month.
Wow. Do you anticipate partnering with a company like Indeed or, one of those larger institutional kind of companies that are helping people in career transition? Or is that, that's their niche and you guys want to stay in yours? Or do you ever see a future path there?
In time, we'll see where that goes. Right now, our focus is making sure that when students and job seekers are on the platform, that they have real stuff available in their area. So that's the connection point that we're really working on.
Awesome.
We actually have a third tier for the businesses. So we had a lot of the big businesses come to us and say, hey, $100 a month doesn't really fit our appetite. Like, we need to flex. We need to be able to really stand out and let these people know that we're here.
Yeah.
So we have a leader category. So as people are searching through content on Career Pathway, there's a section up at the top that is the leaders. So these are the companies that are flexing their muscle, that want to be front and center every time there's a search. That name and brand recognition is right there.
Check us out. Yep.
Absolutely. Here we are. So there's a flex your muscle option for the bigger businesses that is panning out well. One of the bigger businesses got 5 leads in the last 45 days.
That's fantastic. Oh, what a great plan. I really, really dig the model. I love what you guys are doing. I like the impact that you're making. What has been the payback to you personally for doing this?
Back to your point of very heavy lift to get off the ground.
Yeah.
We're a long ways away from being a profitable business. This is a passion. This is a long-term investment. I don't see this as being a flash in the pan. Oh, it didn't work, or, whatever, let's shut it down. We can see the traction coming. We can see where this is going. But the thing we're doing is we have not stopped building.
Yeah.
So when we rolled out the product, every month or every 2 months, we're rolling out a whole new set of features. As a matter of fact, about an hour from now, I'll be in another meeting on how we get all the data and analytics out to people. Yeah. And then the next conversation is going to be AI integration. So we've got AI is involved a little bit in the background, but as we work through the education system and permissions there, we're going to really implement AI throughout the platform and just, put some rocket fuel in it.
That's awesome. Well, I have a few connections that could help you in a couple of ways. We can definitely talk after this, but even from as you look at what goes next with the AI component and how it's going to integrate into your platform, I've got a really, really smart guy that we're working with for my software company that one of the first people hired at Dell, and he's just like Rain Man genius, right? Good guy to know, and just would be a good resource if you move down the direction of like trying to align with some of the larger companies that might have interest in finding some level of partnership like it. Indeed, one of their vice presidents, early executive hire for them, is a big fan of the show and participates, and they're always looking for ways to reinvent what they do and how they do it. Their big thing is, how do we become part of a community? How do we become more engaged? And it isn't just, going and acquiring necessarily another corporate client to go add opportunities for job seekers, but how do we become an integrated part of all these communities and really give back? And I know one of her core passions is youth, right? So there's definitely some connection, I can make there as well. But I just think as you look at the next phase, like you said, it's still a long road to go, and before it becomes, truly profitable. But where do you see this evolving in the next 5 years? Not necessarily letting any secrets out, but where would you like it to be? Every state, beyond the U.S. What's the goal and ambition there?
We're gonna follow the growth. We see these pockets emerging from places, and we'll follow that, and we'll make sure that they're well supported in every area. It has the potential to go wherever we want it to go. There's really no end in sight. Construction in New York City and construction in San Francisco is the same as construction in Lincoln, Nebraska. Yeah. So, when I come in and I tell my story about what it means to be in the construction industry, that resonates everywhere. It's not bound by location. So that's exciting that I could be actually mentoring a student in Texas or New Mexico or somewhere else that I'll never meet. So I'm excited about that. I think the integration into the education system is going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
This is a resource that when we were doing all the testing with the students, we handed them the platform and said, figure this out. And they're like, easy, super intuitive. Nice. Us adults, or us next older generation, are the ones that take a little educating to figure it out. But it's 5 buttons. It's a feed, discover, inbox, apply, and profile. There's 5 buttons that run the entire platform. This next generation understands it.
Yeah. And they can do it on their head, blindfolded.
Yeah. And as we were building it, we had one rule. We said it has to be one touch functional. So you can pick out, you can be laying in bed with your thumb and you can navigate the entire platform. So it's easy, it's intuitive. It's, again, free for the education system. So they're used to dealing with budgets and all of the things. But now we have a platform for industry. Industry understands the importance and significance of getting in front of this next generation.
Yeah.
That's our future.
Yeah.
Now we can do it digitally without having to attend the classrooms, without having to bus students to locations and doing all of the logistical challenges that we're used to dealing with. We can now do it digitally on their time.
One thing that it makes me think of, because I'm, probably 100 years older than you. But at the end of the day, when I go back to like high school and even those early days in college, going to those career fairs, and always feeling like stuff was pushed at me, not really. It wasn't like a two-way street. There wasn't a whole lot of engagement or conversation. It was like, here's the brochure. This is the path you should go, or this is what you should do. And I don't know how much it's changed in, specifically high school in terms of, your school counselor sort of guiding and directing where you need to make your educational choices or what your potential career aptitudes might be. But the thing I like about what you're doing is not only are you exposing them to a whole lot of variety of different avenues to pursue as a potential career, but you're providing that insider baseball, so to speak, in terms of what that looks like and what it does. And now kids, or young professionals can look at, okay, this is what it would be like to go to work at Tru-Built. This is what a day in the life looks like. This is their CEO. Is this a guy I can see myself working with? Is this someone that I feel like I could build some rapport with, and that could be someone that could have an impact on where my future is or where it goes? I think that's so huge. And I think especially for the generation that we deal with today, right? This younger generation, they have been born with a phone in their hand. They have to be able to quickly navigate and understand what it is. Otherwise they're gone. Right. And so the fact that you're able to address that, make it interesting, make it compelling, and make it an environment where they don't feel like intimidated by trying to pursue all these different avenues, I think is just freaking brilliant. It's such a need. And I think you're arriving at this, time in this, this environment at the perfect opportunity, because I think this is what these kids really, really need as they come out. And, we didn't touch on it necessarily, but even, I saw an article not too long ago that was talking about the shift from high school to college, how many other kids are now starting to seek out these alternate paths to, their career, that you don't necessarily have to go to a 4-year program or go get an advanced degree, and you could be making amazing money, especially in the trades. But that the attitude and sort of even the parental thought process has shifted so dramatically. Like back in my day, my dad would have like kicked my ass, right? Even thinking about going that route. But now it's like more encouraged, right? Like if I had this opportunity, I might have gone that route because I like working with my hands. I like being on the go. I like being engaged in things physically. And I kept getting directed back towards stupid stuff, like go sell insurance, or go maybe be a realtor, or whatever. You had all these prescriptive jobs that felt like, oh my God, for 40 years that feels like a prison sentence. So having the opportunity to explore on my own terms, in my own way, in my own private environment where I can sort of peruse these things, and then when I'm interested I can raise my hand and say I want to learn more, I think is phenomenal.
What you said earlier about intimidation, when we interviewed hundreds of students, we said, when you think about entering into the career or a job market, what's the number one word that comes to mind? Intimidation.
Yeah.
So what we've seen here is exactly what you said, is we have students on the platform. I had one reach out to me a couple of weeks ago that said, hey, I want to work at Tru-Built Construction. When that student reached out to me, they knew our company, they knew what we did, they knew the vehicles that we drove, they knew the team members, they knew what they needed to know about Tru-Built. And I knew when that student reached out to me, they're interested in the construction industry. They know what we do, they know what to expect. It's this perfect alignment.
Sure.
He's on the team now, and he fits right in. He sees, he sees the age of our team, and he fits right in. It's great. Big old muscular kid. He's fun to have around, but lifts heavy things.
Those are always helpful. Yeah. Well, and you touched on it though, right? At the end of the day, even as a business owner, like, my spidey senses are going off like, oh my God, this is genius. Because really at the end of the day, thinking about that onboarding curve, that learning curve that they have to have just to understand what's our culture, what do we have what are our expectations, how do we show up and dress when we're, in a meeting or on the job site, what are the day-to-day expectations? Those are all things when you get hired that nobody ever really tells you, right? You never really are prepared for that. But if you get that glimpse into it, you kind of know what you're getting into before you get into it. I think is just phenomenal, because now you have people that are showing up, raising their hand that are truly committed. And as a business owner, that's half the battle of finding who the next best hire is, right?
The neatest thing about the audience that is careerpathway.com. So when these students and these job seekers come on the platform, they're looking for something. Yeah. This isn't an audience. They're not there to kill time. This isn't Facebook or TikTok or any of those. They're coming here to look for something. They're either looking for an education opportunity or the next step down their career journey. That's this whole audience. So when they're on the platform, I know that they're interested in something, and I can see who follows Tru-Built Construction, and I can reach out to them and I'd be like, hey, you might
be questions, let me know. Yeah,
right here.
Yeah, that's huge.
That's a recruitment thing, is I can reach out to them through the messaging in the platform and try to get them in to sit down and have a chat.
Yeah. Oh, that's so awesome. That's phenomenal. I am just so very impressed. I mean, I know you went down this path to solve a very important problem for your construction company, and I know without question, Tru-Built is creating many, many ripples with the clients that you're serving today. But the bigger ripple you're creating is you're equipping the next generation with job opportunity, and you're matching them and their interests with companies that are hungry for the talent, and that are open to a new way of attracting that talent, which I think is just amazing.
So the ripple that is careerpathway.com, while we're right here, is the impact of, if we can help these students on graduation day from high school know what their next path is, know what the next step is, it reduces student loan debt.
Yep.
It puts them into industry faster. They're contributing to 401ks sooner. They're buying houses sooner.
Yep.
That's the ripple.
That's huge. Oh my gosh, that is so huge. What question did I not ask you that you wish I had about what you're doing?
What we're doing is available to all. careerpathway.com. It's a website, username and password you get in. It's no app download. It's as simple as we can possibly make it. What we need right now is we need more businesses adding content. We need more individuals seeking those opportunities. We need to spread the word. That's where we're at. And I can tell you right now that as fast as this is growing, that if we get into some of these bigger markets, it's going to be like wildfire. But
awesome.
We can't do it any cheaper. We can't do it any faster. It's here for all. Use it. Yeah. Put your profiles in, do your things, and reach out anytime. We're here to help. We have a very passionate team that will be on it. If something comes up, we'll be on it to help you out on the support side. But it's actually easier for me to upload content to Career Pathway than it is to go to Facebook or LinkedIn. It's super simple. And the fun stuff is when I'm walking a job site, I can pull my phone out, walk a video of, hey, today we're pouring the footings for this foundation. Right there, take a video. I can upload it to careerpathway.com, and within 5 minutes, it's live to every user on the platform.
That's awesome. Oh, that's fantastic. I mean, I can imagine the technology lift to get it to where it's at today. I don't envy that, but the fact that you've got it, I mean, I'm very, very, very impressed. And count me in. I want to help and support you guys any way I can. I mean, one of my passions is obviously helping the next generation of workforce understand the importance of, landing that job, learning how to integrate into that team, learning how to communicate and really connect with not only the people that you're working with, but also the clients that you're there to serve. And that's an area that I think they don't get enough preparation. It doesn't matter whether you go through high school and all the way through college. I know college kids that, excuse me for saying it, but they just aren't prepared for that first job. Nobody's taken them by the hand and said, hey, let me show you how to get along with the other kids in the sandbox, how to build consensus and collaboration and innovation and all those things. And so if there's an avenue that, we can find to help create some additional ripples, at least on that front, I would be all over that, because it's so important and so necessary. Finding the job, I think, in helping them see their career, the potential in their career path, I think is just what you guys are doing is just amazing.
Well, and it lands with everybody. So everybody that you talk to, everybody listening to this show today knows a student that's struggling to make this transition,
Absolutely.
Knows an educator that's passionate about helping their students find success, knows a parent that's frustrated by this, knows a business that's looking to hire. It's a story you can tell to everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it has applicability across the board. You're absolutely right. Bo, I could talk to you all day. I am so impressed with what you're doing. I'm so grateful for Maggie for connecting us. And there is a lot more to discuss and a lot more to maybe collaborate on. But I want to be respectful of your time. I know you're super busy. I was going to ask, like, when you sleep, because like you're building stuff on physically building stuff, and then you're building stuff out here. What do you do in your spare time?
I'm very passionate about what we're doing. If I can sneak away and do a little fishing or a little hunting in the wintertime and the fall, that's my happy place. I love Husker football, so Go Big Red.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just kind of a down to earth guy that I don't need anything fancy or flashy. I just kind of stick to the basics, and I am very passionate about what we're doing. So I find a lot of joy and happiness in that. I don't see this as being stressful.
Yeah.
What we're doing with Career Pathway, it's fun. It's fun to see these connections being made, and the enthusiasm and excitement from the education system and the students. That's why we're doing it.
I love it. Well, I mean, you're definitely you're doing some really good work for sure. I would be remiss if, as we look to wrap up, if I didn't ask you a few Ripple connection questions just to give people a little sense of who you are beyond what we've talked about today. Are you okay with that?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
What did the 7-year-old Bo want to be when he grew up?
Oh, good question. 7-year-old Bo, probably a pro baseball player. Bo Jackson, all-time favorite baseball player, right?
Yep.
I grew up in the Bo Jackson, Michael Jordan era.
Yep, me too. Yeah.
But yeah, I would have said pro baseball player, 7-year-old Bo.
Oh, I love that. What if you weren't doing Tru-Built and you weren't doing Career Pathway right now? What would the current Bo want to be when he grew up?
I've kind of fallen in love with this real estate development as well, so I'd probably be doing some of that.
You'd be a real estate mogul?
Dabble.
That's like one step below a mogul, right? I love that. Who do you consider your personal hero?
A lot of business owners and mentors along the way that have helped us. My father is absolutely one of them. My dad for the last 26 years has been somebody that I can pick up the phone and boom, answer. He may not tell me what I want to hear, but he's going to tell me what is the right way to do things. So parents, for sure. My wife is a huge supporter of what we're doing. I can't thank her enough for putting up with me at times. My kids are awesome. So yeah, I'm surrounded by good people. And when you're surrounded by good people, you've got a place to go anytime you need it. Very fortunate in that. That's great. Good foundation for sure. And, hopefully you'll replay this for your dad so he knows what an impact he's had on you, and everyone else, obviously your wife and kids. What do people get wrong about Bo? They probably see me as a businessman out for profit most of the time, because I'm very front and center in bids and trying to engage the next project and all of the things. But really, I'm passionate about the success of the projects. I'm passionate about the success of students and educators. My win is always telling somebody I can do something and then shaking their hand at the end of the project and saying, "See, I told you so." Yeah. That's my win. We're passionate about what we do. And, I don't have the desire to be a billionaire with a private jet. That's not me. A comfortable life. I want to be able to go home and mow my own lawn if that's what I want to do, or go watch my son play baseball or football. That's my happy place. I love that. What do you wish more people knew about you? I'm here to help. Reach out. Yep. Ask me the questions. I do a lot of mentoring with our teammates within Tru-Built, especially if they're buying a house. I'll walk all the houses with them and make sure they're buying something that's good. I'll make sure they're connected with a good banker. If they're going through an auto loan type of deal or anything, I coach them through it. So open door policy at Tru-Built. Anybody can walk in and sit down at my desk at any time, and I'll give them the best information that I have. Just very, very much like my parents and my grandparents did for me. I knew that I could reach out to any of them at any time, and they'd give me the best that they had. So you have success and have experienced success on multiple levels. What is the secret to success for someone out there that's still struggling to try and find it for their own life? Take care of others. That's a great one. Very, very good. I was going to ask you, if there was an opportunity to put a message on a billboard where everybody that drove by it on the way to school or to work and saw it on the way home at night, what would your message be to those folks? Head up, move forward, and work hard. A lot of people don't understand that those that are successful in business or many other things, they don't have superpowers. Yeah. They figure out a path, they commit to that path, and then they work hard. And if you focus on something and you work hard enough, long enough, you'll find success. That's great. I love that. Last three questions. What does the ripple effect mean to you? What does that conjure up when you hear those words? How can what I do ripple out and affect others on a positive note? Ooh, that's good. Man, you got these answers are just rock solid, man. These are great. What positive ripple can I be looking to create for you? I need you and your voice to get to as many people as possible to help us spread the word. I can do that. Sign me up. I'm in. I'll do it. And final question is, what's the best way for someone to get involved, either follow you or the company or a career pathway? What are the links and or sites that you want people to check out? Yeah, obviously careerpathway.com. Hop in, create your profile. You can follow me on there and I can follow you and we can connect that way. LinkedIn's a good spot right now. Facebook. I'm not a big social media guy, but our team is doing that for me and making me look really good. But, yeah, just reach out anytime. Support at careerpathway.com we'll get to the team and we'll distribute that message to who it needs to go to. And again, we're here to help. There's a whole handful of us in the background doing all this stuff. So reach out anytime. I love it. Right before we were recording, just so those of you that are seeing the video, you see that we're in Bo's office and getting an opportunity to see, kind of the inner workings of the enterprise behind him. But
He made everybody leave the office so that he could be on.
I evicted everyone. I stuck a note on the door that said, "I'm leaving an hour."
But yeah, don't come back. Yeah, that's awesome. I love it, Bo. I am so grateful that you and I are connected. You're going to be stuck with me as a friend and a supporter. So, sorry, but that's just the way it's going to be. And I am so grateful there are people out there like you that are doing this work and doing, stepping up and going beyond what they need to in order to make a difference in the, impact the next generation of workforce, and not just them, but the companies, right? That you are helping, make this match and connect these, these great, workers to opportunities that might not have been discovered out there online or via websites, or even know that this was a potential career path. I mean, it's the ultimate ripple in a big, big way. I appreciate your approach, having worked with a lot of GCs through my other software company and know the good and the bad. Obviously, I spent a fair amount of time looking at your company and all the good work you do, and you're creating positive ripples in every aspect of your life and your work. And I commend you. So my hat's off to you for sure.
Well, I appreciate that, Steve. And I look forward to all future conversations and how we can continue to work together.
Absolutely. Me too. Fantastic. Well, guys, we'll be back with another episode of the Ripple Effect podcast. But until then, Bo, ripple on.